Hello guys, how is it going? Welcome to this video lecture. This is Ashwin, and in this video lecture we are going to see how to install pure Debian operating system on a Raspberry Pi board. Now Debian is one of the popular distributions of Linux. It also has created flavor of its own operating system for Raspberry Pi computers. So if you have got any Raspberry Pi board, you can definitely install Debian on it. So the very first thing that we need is the software. So I'm going to go ahead and visit this URL. I already have it opened in one of the tabs in the browser. So basically here we are going to get a software known as Raspberry Pi Imager. So basically this Raspberry Pi Imager allows us to flash the operating system images onto a micro SD or SD card. So for our convenience, I have already installed this Raspberry Pi Imager, but if you want to install it on your computer, you can just visit this page, and link to that is in this document. And I have already uploaded this document on my GitHub repository, and link to that document in my GitHub repository is available in the description section of this video. So you visit this page on the raspberrypi.com and then download the software. It is known as Raspberry Pi Imager. So that software is available for Windows, it is available for Mac OS, and it is also available for Ubuntu x86. Now, if you are already running a Raspberry Pi with Raspberry Pi OS, which is the recommended operating system for a Raspberry Pi computer, then you can directly run this command sudo apt install rpi-imager, this command on the command prompt of Raspberry Pi OS, and it is going to install that software on Raspberry Pi OS for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and mention this command here in this document. This is all about the software. Now, in order to install the operating system, we need an operating system image. And that image can be found at this particular URL. So here we are going to find all the tested images for Debian for various Raspberry Pi boards. And I already have that page opened in one of the browser tabs. So here we can see that it has got images for Raspberry Pi 0 or Raspberry Pi 1, Raspberry Pi 2, Raspberry Pi 3, Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, so this is the older version of Debian 10 Booster. Then we also have got images for Debian 11 Bullseye for Raspberry Pi 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and Pi 400. So out of that we are going to use this image, which is tested for Raspberry Pi 4 4GB, but you can definitely use it with 8GB model. I guess this image and the image directly above that, that is tested for Raspberry Pi P400, is the same one. So all the Raspberry Pi models will use this image. If you have Raspberry Pi P400 or Raspberry Pi 4 4GB and 8GB. So I would recommend that you use a model with at least 4GB RAM. Let us download that image. So if you click here, it is going to launch the download and it will be visible in the bottom left corner of your browser window. And once that download finishes, you can check it in the downloads history. So here we can see the downloaded image. So for our convenience, I have already downloaded this image before I commenced recording of this lecture. And you can also see this image in the file system in the downloads directory here. Now, once the image is downloaded, you just open the RPI Imager. So this program is going to require elevated credentials. So it is going to ask you for credentials to launch. Now we are going to choose the operating system. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this path. Was it possible to copy that path? Okay, we will actually browse, don't worry. So we are going to choose the OS. Now it will show you a list of operating systems, and we really don't want to go ahead with any one of the operating systems that is available for download through this tool, because we have downloaded our own image. Now we are going to click use custom, and okay, it is already taking us to the downloads directory. But in case it is not taking you to the downloads directory right away, then you can go ahead and browse it on your system. Okay, so this is my username, and if I click any file here and press D key on the keyboard, it is actually going to cycle through all the documents with D in the character in the name. Okay, D as a starting character in the name. So here we have the downloads folder, and let me double click it, and here we have the Raspberry Pi 4 bullseye image. So I'm just going to click this and open it. Now I have to choose a medium where I'm going to flash the operating system. So for storage, I have chosen a micro SD card of 16 GB. So it's a class 10 micro SD card with very good read and write speed. So in case you are wondering which micro SD card to choose, go ahead and choose a class 10 micro SD card. Now I'm going to insert that micro SD card into a micro SD card reader, and I'm going to attach it to this computer through a USB port. So as soon as I attach that micro SD card to this computer here, it is actually going to show me what are the contents of that micro SD card. Now the thing is that I have already written some other operating system for Raspberry Pi into that micro SD card, so it is not totally clean. So I'm going to tell you now how to clean that micro SD card. Just go to the search bar here and type DI, and it is going to show us create and format hard disk partitions. So if you click that option, it is going to launch a utility known as disk management. I have got many drives, physical drives connected to my motherboard. That's why it is going to take some time to read the data and to display it visually. But this tool is an excellent tool. It is going to show you the summary of all the disks connected to your computer. And it is going to tell you which one is the removable disk and which ones are the disks connected to the motherboard directly. So I have got 3 disks. So here is E colon, here we have D colon, and here we have C colon. Okay. And these are not removable disks. These are basic disks. Now, if you have any removable disk like this is the removable disk. Okay. And this is the micro SD card. So we are just going to go ahead and delete volumes on it. So be careful not to delete volumes on your hard drive. Otherwise it is going to mess up your computer and you may not be able to recover it. So let's wait for a moment till it deletes that volume, and let us delete that final volume too, so that we are going to have a very clean micro SD card. So once it deletes the volume, we are going to choose that here in the choose storage. So it is showing us mass storage USB device 16 GB. Okay, and after choosing it, I am going to click write button. So as we can see, it is writing the operating system to the micro SD card connected to this computer. So now the installation is going to take some time, and I really don't want to record the entire video sequence of the installation while we just wait. So I'm just going to skip this part. So the Raspberry Pi imager has finished writing the operating system to the micro SD card. So once it finishes writing that operating system and verifying that, it is going to show a confirmation message which you can close, and then you can close this Raspberry Pi imager window also. Now it is going to also show a couple of messages like this, that you need to format the disk in drive I before you can use it. It means that our Windows is not able to read the Linux file system. So don't worry about it as of now. Just go ahead and click cancel. Now go to this place, the arrow symbol, and try to safely remove the micro SD card connected to this computer. So it seems that Windows has already disconnected safely the micro SD card. And let's go to the file system and see, yes, the micro SD card has automatically been unmounted. Now the operating system has been written to the micro SD card. I have inserted that micro SD card into the micro SD card slot of the Raspberry Pi 4 4GB model that I have, and I have powered it up. Now the thing is that we have to log in. I have also connected it to the local network by using Ethernet cable. I have inserted that Ethernet cable to the Ethernet port of Raspberry Pi that we are booting up. Now we need to find out the IP address of this Raspberry Pi, and that can be done using Nmap utility. So you can visit this URL. So let me copy this and let me open it in a browser. So this is the Zenmap GUI for Nmap utility. If you are comfortable with command prompt, you can install Nmap utility on your Linux computer and you can run this command. And if you are not comfortable with the command prompt yet, you can definitely install this Zenmap utility. So you download it and install it. I have already done it for my Windows computer. So there we will have an option to run this command in that tool. And this utility basically searches and reports all the active computers in your network. It is going to show you the names of those computers, if applicable, their IP address and their MAC address. So this is a kind of security tool. So now I'm going to open it. Just type in Zenmap. So again, let me be clear. In order to use it, you have to install it on your computer. And it is going to take you to that tool once you type in and hit enter. So the command is nmap -sn 192.168.0.* So this IP address depends on your router and your settings. So make sure that you are using correct first 3 nibbles of the IP address of your network. And then go ahead and scan it. So it is going to take some time for scan to finish. As of now, I have got 3 different devices connected to this. The first one is the computer where I am recording this, which is the current computer. The second one is the Raspberry Pi, and the third one is the Android device. So here we have the Raspberry Pi. Here we can see the address, the IP address of that Raspberry Pi. Now let me switch to the display of the Raspberry Pi. Now let us continue our demonstration of Debian setup on the display of Raspberry Pi. So the very first thing that we need to do is to change the password or to set the default password. So when we install Debian, it doesn't have any default password. So let me set the password and let's keep it root. So this is the root password of the Debian. When Debian is installed on that micro SD card, it has got one default user. Its name is root, ROOT. So we have just set the password of the root with the password changing utility. Now let us see what are the next steps. Let us go ahead and install sudo. Okay, so we have just installed sudo on this Debian system. Now let us install the text editor Nano. So this way we installed the text editor Nano. And now we need to enable SSH as well as remote root login. So for that we need to go to this file and edit it with Nano utility. So let me copy this. The name of that file is /etc/ssh/sshd_config. So basically there is a directory in the root directory etc, and then we have another directory in that known as ssh. In that ssh directory we have sshd_config. So in case you want to enable the X11 forwarding or allow root login, then you have to edit this file. So there are a few settings that we have to enable. So let me copy this and paste it. So sudo is a command that provides us the elevated privileges. So we have just installed sudo, and whenever you want to access anything related to system settings and all, you should always use sudo. So anyway, we have the root user as the current user, so sudo may not be needed, but in case you are going to create another user on your own and you want to edit this sshd_config, then you have to use the command sudo. So now this is the sshd config thing. So let us scroll down. So I have allowed permit root login. It means that it allows root login. So by default, this will be no, and there will be a pound sign or hash sign preceding this setting. So delete that pound sign like this, and then change here to yes. So let me enable that line again, and let us see the setting for enabling the X11 forwarding. I will explain you what X11 forwarding is in a moment. So here we must have setting for enabling the X11 forwarding. So here also this setting might be disabled by default. So there will be hash sign or the pound sign preceding it. And you just need to make that no to yes and delete that hash sign. And then you just go ahead and save this. And all you have to do is sudo init 6. So this is the command to restart your Debian system. Now if I hit enter, I will be disconnected. Now we will wait for our Debian system to restart, and we will be able to log into it using MobaXterm utility. So I have already covered MobaXterm utility in another video session. You can find the link to that session in the description down below. And in case you do not want to miss any one of my upcoming lectures on Linux, shell scripting, Python programming, then I would humbly request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to enable the bell notification. So now I'm going to start a local terminal. Let me close this. Okay. Now we knew that the IP address of our computer was 100. Okay. 192.168.0.100. Now after rebooting, it must acquire the same IP address, or it could even acquire another IP address. So let us see that. So I can see that the system has booted up totally, and it will take some time for the Nmap utility to scan the booted up system. Okay, we can see here it has acquired the same IP address. So I'm just going to copy it, and it will be copied to the clipboard of this computer. Now I'm going to go to the MobaXterm, run the clear command, and I'm going to say SSH. SSH stands for secure shell. Root @ let's paste the IP address and hit enter. Now it is going to prompt us for the password. So we had set the password as ROOT root. Now it has taken us to the Debian command prompt or Debian terminal. So now let us go ahead and check the rest of the commands, what we need to do. So we have finished till here. Now we need to install a few important things. So in case you want to use the graphical user interface, you need to install Xorg, SLIM. SLIM stands for Simple Login Manager, and XFCE. Okay, so this is a desktop environment for Linux. So XFCE is the desktop environment for Linux and Unix-like operating systems like BSD. So I'm just going to copy this line, sudo apt install -y xorg slim xfce, and I'm going to paste it here. So it is going to go ahead and install. Okay, it is not able to see XFCE. So I'm just going to say XFCE 4. Okay, so it is already installed to the newest version. So I will just modify here in this file. And we also need to have a web browser. So this is the Firefox ESR web browser. We also need to install GCC and G++. Paste, and I will install both of them in a same line. Now we need to set the host name of our system. So let me copy this and let me paste it. So this host name CTL utility is used for setting the host name. So I am setting the host name to RPI4, and let us see the entry here in etc/host. So here we have to set it to RPI4. So here let me correct the IP address and Control X, Y, enter. And let us restart the hostname utility. So invoke -rc .d hostname.sh space start. And let me hit enter. So it has restarted the hostname daemon. Now, in order to remove the unnecessary packages, I need to say sudo apt auto remove -y. So copy it and paste it here. Okay, so it has removed all the unnecessary packages. Now let us see what sort of shells are available for us. So the command is cat/etc/shells. So cat/etc/shells. So these are the shells that are available for us for programming. So we have the original shell of Unix, then we have born again shell. We also have R born again shell. We have dash. So these are all the shells available with Debian operating system by default. And you can install additional shells like tcsh, csh, and ksh using the apt utility. So if you want to install any additional shell, just say sudo apt install ksh-y. So it is going to go ahead and install the ksh utility. So it is going to fetch around 1 MB of archives. So now it is connecting to the repository from where it is going to download it, and it has finished downloading it. Now it is going to decompress and copy the files. Okay, it seems that the KSH shell has been installed. So again, let us go to the list of shells and see if KSH has been installed. And yes, here we can see the entries for KSH93 and RKSH93. Okay, so we can invoke it by just saying KSH and enter. So this is the KSH shell or the corn shell. So let me exit this shell and let me clear the screen. Now we know that our Debian Raspberry Pi computer is connected to the network using the Ethernet cable. So I already made it clear while booting up the system that I am connecting a Ethernet cable into the Ethernet port of the Raspberry Pi, and that's how it is accessing internet. Now I want to turn on the Wi-Fi, and fortunately Debian has got drivers for Wi-Fi on Raspberry Pi computers. So it is very easy. There is a utility known as Network Manager, and it has got a command line interface known as Network Manager command line interface. So let us turn that command line interface on. Let me copy this and let me paste it here. Now I want to check the status of this Wi-Fi. So copy and paste. So the command is nmcli radio Wi-Fi to check the status. So if you append on to this command, then it is going to turn it on. And if you just want to check the status, then that on keyword is not necessary. So it says the Wi-Fi has been enabled. Now let us go ahead and check the list of all the Wi-Fi networks that are available to all of us for connection. So let's copy this command and let us paste it here. So the command is nmcli dev Wi-Fi list. So this is the list of Wi-Fi that are available for us for connection. And let me quit it. Let's clear this. Now I want to connect to my home network. So the command is nmcli d Wi-Fi connect. And here we have to mention the name of the Wi-Fi network. and the keyword password and then actual password of the Wi-Fi network. So let me copy this and paste it. So let us wait for a few moments. Okay, so it says device WLAN 0 successfully activated with this given token. Now, if we want to see, then we can just say nmcli conn show. Enter. So this is the Wi-Fi network that we are connected to, and we can even check the status with this command. Okay, so here we have the status of all of our networking devices. So basically we had wireless LAN and we also had Ethernet network. So Ethernet is disconnected, that's why it is showing gray for the Ethernet. And WLAN 0, that is wireless LAN 0 is connected, that's why it is showing green for wireless LAN. So this is how we can connect to any wireless LAN that is accessible to us. Now, we had actually enabled the X11 forwarding, if you remember, when we booted up our Raspberry Pi with Debian. So you must have asked a question to yourself what X11 forwarding is. Let us understand what X11 forwarding is. We know that this is a command line interface and we are not able to run any sort of graphical utilities on this command line interface. And moreover, this is remote command line and this is not the local command prompt of this computer. So if I want to invoke any sort of utility that has graphical user interface from a remote command line, then I have to use something known as X11 forwarding. So for X11 forwarding, we need to have enabled X11 forwarding on that Linux or Unix system, which we have already done after booting up the Raspberry Pi. So if you remember, we had changed the setting in the /etc/ssh/sshd_config file using the nano editor, and we had enabled the X11 forwarding. So basically X11 forwarding was already enabled. Only to explain you how to enable it in case it is not enabled, I took you to that file. Now that X-enable forwarding is enabled, we are done with the first part. The second part is that we need to have an X server utility running on the Windows machine from which we are connecting to the Unix or Linux system. So generally we have to install a separate X server utility like Xming. But the specialty of this MobaXterm SSH client is that it has got a built-in X server. So if you check the top right corner, then you will find an X server symbol. So it is the X symbol here and X server written below it. So if you click that, it is going to ask you if you want to stop that X server utility. Just click no. So I just wanted to show you that there is X server utility running in the background, and it comes with this MobaXterm SSH client. So now we don't have to do anything. We just need to have a graphical user interface program that can be invoked by a command. So a popular text editor is known as gedit. So let us go ahead and install it. Sudo apt install gedit -y. So it is going to install that gedit graphical user interface. Basically, it is a text editor and we can just invoke it with the command gedit, and I'm going to use hyphen, so it is not going to block this command line interface. So let me hit enter, and it is showing us the process ID of this instance of gedit. So let us wait for some time for X server to start up the graphical user interface of gedit on this computer. So basically this gedit utility is running on the Debian installed on that Raspberry Pi, and we are remotely accessing the graphical user interface of this gedit utility. So it is quite exciting. So as you can see here, this is the graphical user interface of that gedit text editor. So this is how we can use X11 forwarding to access the graphical user interface applications running in remote Linux or Unix systems. So let me close it now. So this was all about the X11 forwarding and accessing graphical user interface running on Linux from Windows computer using command line. So this way we really do not need to have the access to the desktop of Raspberry Pi or any other Linux or Unix system. You can just install and enable that X11 forwarding stuff. So this is all about the installation and use of Debian operating system on Raspberry Pi. So I hope that you have understood the lecture. Do let me know if you have any questions, queries, or comments about this video lecture in the comment section of this video. In case you want to access the document that has got all the steps listed, then you can check the description section of this video where I have mentioned the link of the GitHub for this particular document. So I'm planning to upload a lot of new sessions on Linux, Unix, shell scripting, commands, Python, C, C++, Java, and Raspberry Pi. So in case you don't want to miss all those sessions in the future, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for watching this video lecture. Do let me know if you have any issues while installing Debian on your Raspberry Pi, and I will try to answer all of your questions by creating new video series. Thanks a lot once again, and I will see you next time.